On the evening of July 20th, County Police and Montgomery County Fire Rescue units were dispatched to a residence in Kensington for a report of a suicide in progress. En route to the call, units were notified that the caller had received a text message from a friend stating that the friend was going to hang himself in his backyard. Ambulance 705 arrived on the scene along with County Police. Firefighter-paramedic Maria Ale and firefighter Michael Hedge immediately started to gather the jump bag, AED, and stretcher. Based on the CAD comments, EMT Maritza Ortiz ran to the backyard to try to locate the patient. She found the patient hanging from a noose approximately 3 feet off the ground. She quickly encircled the patient's thighs with her arms, straightened her legs to try and bear as much of the patient's weight as possible. At this time, County Police Corporal Sean Redigan and Police Officer Christopher Averza arrived on the scene and immediately assisted EMT Ortiz with bearing the patient's weight to further relieve tension from the patient's neck. Firefighter-paramedic Ale and firefighter Hedge arrived with trauma shears and were able to cut the ligature. Together, the crews were able to lie the patient down, protecting his C-spine in the process. The patient was quickly assessed and found to be pulseless and apneic. The crews worked quickly to initiate chest compressions and apply the AED. As Medic 741 and Paramedic Engine 720 arrived on the scene, the patient began to cough. Shortly after, the patient opened his eyes and began to look around. Crews began to talk to the patient, and the patient started crying. The patient explained that he was very upset and had tried to take his own life by overdosing and then hanging himself. The crews talked to the patient and calmed and reassured him. They placed him in a C-collar and prepared him for transport to Suburban. Firefighter-paramedic Jeffrey Firestone and paramedic Will Lettinger transported the patient on Medic 741. En route to the hospital, firefighter-paramedic Firestone consulted with Suburban via EMRC, notified staff of the trauma alert, initiated an IV, performed an EKG, and monitored and reevaluated the patient. Upon arrival at Suburban, patient care was turned over to the trauma team. The patient was found to have traumatic glaucoma and a few bruises. He was treated for his minor injuries and depression. Thanks to the teamwork, skills, and knowledge of the crews on the scene and the incredible staff at Suburban Hospital, the patient was discharged neurologically intact a few days later. He reached out and wants to thank all the crews that came together that day to save his life. He is very grateful that they were there to help him.